Well,
You
we're
are
live.
live.
We are live.
Do you ever expand the screen, or you just keep it kind of
I
make
keep
any
it like
difference?
this. You can put something in the background if you want to. You have to scroll all the way down on the brand.
I got you. Okay, so
Oh,
they can hear
well.
us now. Let me look at the comments and see. Yeah, here we go. Welcome aboard, Mike. Yeah, there's Big Vol Daddy. You've been already been responding.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback from somewhere. There we go.
Okay.
I don't know
Um,
where.
let's see. We've got where's Stingray? Hey, Stingray, how do I sound? Am I too loud or about right? I'm holding the microphone. Y'all let
There
me
we
know
go.
if it's too loud or about right.
You sound good on my end.
Okay, then that's probably a good sign.
Yep. I see a few regulars in here. Kelly Goodwin,
Yeah. And I see,
Carolina Jackpot. Look at there. Good to see
is
Jackpot in
Caroline in
here.
there?
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh, Carolina. I watched his video. He was mad because he got cricked at Walmart today getting his potato chips in there. And
Yeah.
I sent him a message because I went through a similar thing. I was trying to come back from Subway, and it took me 45 minutes to go 1 mile in Pigeon Forge because we've had the
Right.
worst storms here today than you can possibly imagine.
Is
And of
traffic
course,
getting bad already for the
yeah, and
summer?
see, nobody's at Dollywood today because the weather's so bad.
Right.
So they're all out on the roads doing stuff, and you can't go anywhere right now. It's terrible.
Yes, Joe's Bazooka. This is Sports Talk Jay's very first live stream over here on his own channel. So you guys
Yep.
share this out for him. Let's get him a bunch of people in. There's already 27 people watching, so
Well, that's cool.
you're you're already doing as good as me.
I'm
I
hoping
told you.
see. I
I told
launched
you
that
you do good,
video.
John.
I launched that video about 20, 30 minutes ago because I had to totally redo a video today that I spent 2 hours on
Yeah.
because of the weather, and somehow it messed up my computer. And I thought I was going to be able to save it, didn't save it, and I had to do another 2 hours. And then when I was uploading it, and some of you YouTubers will understand this, it took about 10 times longer than it normally takes to upload the video.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm launching a video 20 minutes before we go live. But
That's
hopefully some
okay.
people that watch that will come right on. But
Yeah.
anyway, we got the great news about Mike Mathews, the 5-star coming on board.
Yep.
That we really needed that. We've had a couple of good weeks, but we've been kind of left behind because so many other teams have been doing so well. And that really kind of was, I think that's going to kickstart us the next 2 weeks because we got Edwin Spillman tomorrow, the linebacker out of Tennessee that it could be outstanding. That guy is super fast.
We need some linebackers too.
Oh, yeah. And he's a cover linebacker. He's so fast and quick that he can cover that tight end and he can run that. He can cover the running backs when they do that swing route or the,
Yeah.
what do they call that thing?
There's a wheel route.
Wheel route. That's it. When they
yeah.
do that wheel route.
Yeah, we could have used him last year against South Carolina. I watched the highlights of that game for some reason a while ago, just because it was stupid. I wanted to see us in those Clemson helmets again because I actually
Mhm.
like those uniforms. And of course, everybody after the game, don't ever wear those ugly things again. The helmets didn't lose the game, guys.
No.
So hopefully I'd like to see them wear them again this year against South Carolina when we pound them.
I hope we do, but that's a revenge game. They took a big crap in our Cheerios last year, and we need to repay them for that. That was very
Yes, they did.
painful.
Look,
And
you've
then on
already
top,
got 40 people watching, Jay.
well, cool. That's awesome. The
It is.
Stingray says we're number 8 in recruiting, so that's good. Yeah, we moved, I think, from 14th to 8th, but that's on 3. I don't know what's going on with 247.
Climbing that ladder, baby. Climbing that ladder. We're coming for you, Georgia and Alabama. and Ohio State.
Do you know the guy, Mike Mathews, he was number 14 in the country, but he was rated the number 3 player in the state of Georgia. So they had 2 other guys that were in the top 10 in the nation. That's why their recruiting is so easy in Georgia. It's just they're just loaded with talent right there, and they can't
get them all.
Pool.
They can't get them all.
No, well, and they don't need to. That's the thing.
Right.
On top of that, see, like Clemson has South Carolina to contend with, and then you've got Alabama's got Auburn. Georgia doesn't have anybody. I mean, Georgia Tech, but I mean that's too hard to get into.
They're not competing for football players at Georgia Tech and Georgia. They're competing for brains, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And then on top of it, it's you got LSU. They don't have anybody to compete with there at that state, and they're just loaded with talent too. So you've got two schools with a huge advantage. Florida's loaded with talent, but you've got Florida State and you got Miami, and now you got UCF with.
I was going to say UCF and
South Florida.
South Florida. They're doing well. Alabama's
And,
got to go to South Florida this year. A lot of people are overlooking that game.
Who goes to South Florida?
Alabama.
Yeah, they might give them a good. It's hard to say with Alabama what they're going to do this year.
Yeah.
Saban's ticked off, and that's not a good thing. You don't want him mad.
It's not.
But he's changed his defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator, and he doesn't know who the quarterback's going to be.
You might want to acknowledge the crowd, John. You got 57 people watching right now, and it's growing.
Okay. Where do you see that number 57? Is it up?
Well, I'm looking 64 now. I'm looking at YouTube, but it should be up in the top left-hand corner of your StreamYard where it says live. You see it up there?
I don't see a number of people. I just see I see all the comments.
Right. There should be. It's somewhere on your StreamYard because StreamYard keeps up with that and YouTube keeps up with it. You're at 62
I've heard
right now.
Yeah, I've heard folks talking about that when they're on there. I can't believe it's just not in some obvious place. Oh, here it is. I see it. There's an eyeball up here.
Okay.
That tells you, and it says 62 next to eyeball. That's surprising. I didn't know if I did.
No, it's not, man. I've been trying to tell you for months. The first time you go live, you're going to have a big crowd, and it's only going to get bigger. I mean, look, you can say what you want about your channel, but I've been trying to tell you for months now, your channel is growing like a weed. And I know you just do this for fun or whatever, but people are interested in what you got to say because you give good news. You show what you're reading and you infuse some humor in it like I've always done. And I think that's what keeps people coming back. Plus, you're just a good guy. Oh, did you notice my shirt? Totally forgot. Check it out.
Yeah.
Tennessee
What's
golf.
that? Does that say golf?
It says golf. I wore that just for you. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't even know they had a Tennessee golf T-shirt.
They've got a shirt for every sport at the ball shop.
Oh, that's funny.
I've just about got them all. I've even got a track and field shirt somewhere.
Hey, let's see what Carolina Jackpot said here. And it says show. So that'll show the comment.
There you go.
There's some quality talent in South Carolina, but the population is still kind of small relative to other states. Got to go scoop and kills from Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. There's a lot of truth in that. And then you hit Hyde. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of learning this stuff.
Yeah. Well,
South Carolina, they've got some talent there, but it's tough because Clemson takes them from them. And then we have for years, and I don't know.
We've always done well in South Carolina.
South Carolina's just some good players there. There are some good players. I can't figure out why Carolina can't get a running back. I would think that offense would be ideal for running back. I just don't. You would think they'd be lining up in Carolina to play running back there.
Who is your running back, Jackpot? The kid last year.
Well, they had that great guy that wound up. Where did he went to like Penn State or something or Notre Dame?
I'm not sure. The best one they've had since we've been watching them, of course, is Lattimore.
Oh my gosh,
that guy was unreal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
and didn't he tear his knee
against Tennessee? And that was
I
was just sick. Crushed for him.
That made me sick.
You could tell even
great talent.
Yeah, the Tennessee players were even tore up about that.
Oh yeah, I remember being just sick over that.
But he's handled it well. He really has. He's handled it well. He's accepted it, and
he got
there
drafted.
You go.
He did get drafted.
There's your first super chat.
Let me see. Oh, Carolina Jackpot.
Pop your cherry.
Oh man, I cannot believe Jackpot's my first super chat.
Hey, had to be somebody, right?
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh no.
Now we got to get you.
How could you do that to me, Jackpot?
That's his invitation. That's his invitation for you to watch this show.
Oh, I do watch it. I watch Carolina Jackpot all the time. My favorite things that he does, and you're going to think this is dumb. I like his potato chip route videos. I don't know why.
I love it too. Yeah,
I just enjoy it. I think because I'd never seen that before, and it interests me. And just
the
seeing
human side.
route.
Yeah.
So
just human interest, you know. I used to do. I've had some route jobs like he's got. Never potato chips. I had a horrible route job. I delivered uniforms, and I had to go up into Southwest Virginia to the coal mines. Man, that was a nasty job, hauling all them dirty uniforms out of there and dirty mats at the convenience store. I loved the job, but I hated my route.
yeah,
So,
I can
but
understand.
he's Jackpot's got a good job, man. Route sales, and I call it sales because there's definitely sales involved in it. It's not just taking tater chips to Walmart, you know. He's got to upsell, and so I keep up with old Jackpot. No, it wasn't Aramark. It was their Centos now. But when I worked for him, it was RUS, Rental Uniform Service, and Centos bought them out.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
that
you
would be
got
a little
77 people, Jack or
cool.
Jay.
Cool.
I'm not trying to tell you how to run your stream, but a lot of times, a lot of us at the beginning will acknowledge, you know, the people in the chat and all that
Well,
good stuff. And
first thing I'm going to acknowledge, Stingray watches, I think, most of my videos.
yep,
And he usually comments, and I usually, if I don't comment back for some reason, it's because I missed it. I've been trying really hard I try to respond to every single comment, but in the last couple of weeks, I've been a little bit behind on some. So if
it's
I don't respond and y'all are watching this, it's not because I'm trying to be rude. Don't think that ever. It's just occasionally I don't get to it, but I really try hard because if somebody watches my video and then they comment too, what more could I ask? You know, that's a big deal.
the problem with that, John, is you're going to get to a point where you can't respond to all of them. I mean, that you're going to get to a point where there's going to be so many comments on each video, and that's when you know you're doing good, when you can't respond to all of them. If you've got 150 comments on a video, there's no way you're going to get to all of them. You'd be sitting there all night
Yeah,
responding to comments.
I've
So,
actually done that. I've actually at times I've
yep,
taken 2 hours out and just responded to every single one of them because I just felt like I needed to do that. And a lot of times I've had some great comments, and they'll give me some insight,
yeah,
and they'll also they'll give me good ideas for shows and stuff. And you
man,
know, I got a lot of them that respond almost every time, and I try to get to them as much as I can.
I'm impressed. I'm even more impressed than I thought I was going to be. You're almost at 100 people watching right now.
That's cool. I've got here
That
Aaron Young.
that's amazing.
2 great shows in one spot. Thanks, guys. That's cool. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Aaron.
Uh-huh.
All of you guys. John will tell you. There's three, in my opinion. There's three great YouTubers: Sports Talk Jay, Talking Vols, Shut Up Jackpot. I know you're going to have a comment about them. And my channel. I've been doing this for 14 years, so I welcome all of you that are not subbed to me to come on over and give me a shot. You know, I'll give it. Tell them, John. I give it to you straight. I
Yeah.
don't
Now
sugarcoat.
VVD
Yeah,
will just flat out tell you what he thinks. There will be no holding back.
no.
He's going to give you a very frank conversation, and you know it's unique. And he's from the little town of Greenville, which is where I'm from. In
Yep, we're from the
Tennessee.
same hometown.
Yeah,
Amazing.
a little small town. It's a really nice town too. It's a
It is.
great little retirement community type town. They've got good high school sports there. I played golf there back in the day, and our team actually in 1983 or 84 we won the state title, and
You
it was
won Greenville's first state title in any
that's right.
sport.
We were the very first state title,
You popped
and
Greenville's cherry.
yeah, and that was in 19 I believe 84. So. Or it might have been 83, but anyway, we were coming. I remember after the tournament, we won by 1 shot in a playoff. And it was, we were playing Christian Brothers in a playoff out of Nashville. And they were a school that was 5 times, they had like 3,000 or 4,000 students or something crazy. And
Who was it? Who was it?
it was either Christian Brothers or they were out of Memphis. It was either one of those. It was either team, because there was another team that was it was like 720 to 719 to 718 or something. It was some crazy number that was incredibly close. And we went into a 4-man. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a 4-man playoff, but you tee off in 2 foursomes, and whatever the low score is total for the teams wins. And we won by 1 shot and won the title. And it just, it was a big deal to us at that time. You know, I'm 17 years old, and we were all excited. And we were driving back, and Coach Hawks, who has, I believe he's passed.
Herb
I
Hawks.
always loved Coach Hawks. I always liked
Yep.
him.
He's also the
He was
basketball coach.
also the basketball coach, which is really what he did. And he would coach the golf team just because he knew golf. And he was such a great guy to be around. And he was driving us back in that old Green Devil van that you could smell the gas coming through it. You know, it was just like it was about a 1972 van. And we said, "Oh, we're going to play hooky tomorrow. We're not going into school. We've won the state title." And he stopped the van, pulled over, turned around. He had this little chair you could turn around. And he said, "Let me tell you something." He gave us a good cursing. He said, "If you don't show up at that school tomorrow, I'm going to personally kick the living crap out of each and every one of you." He said, "They're going to make a big deal out of you. They're going to give you a dadgum big thing in the Coliseum area there and make a big deal, and you're not even going to be there." He said, "I will kill you." And we decided to show up, and they were very kind.
They should have gave you a parade.
Well, they gave us a little, it was kind of a big deal. We got free meals around at the the Bean Barn.
Oh yeah,
we got a free meal there at the Bean Barn, which that was my favorite thing. I love the Bean Barn.
Jerry, that used to own the Bean Barn, he was over here last week, I think. He came over to see me. I used to eat there every morning, and I actually live 4 houses behind the old Bean Barn. And
I used to walk right by your house every day to go get lunch because we always walked to the Bean Barn about half a mile.
You got a couple more super chats.
I did. I got, have I missed anybody? I don't think I have.
Yeah, you
Mike Zimmerman says, "Congratulations." Yeah. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. And there's somebody up. Oh, yeah. There is Bo Burrell sent $10. Thank you very much, Bo. I appreciate that. It's kind of you.
Got nothing to say. Must be a Georgia fan. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I doubt it.
Hey, you'll have them in here, man. There's a lot of people from other schools, and
that's kind of surprising.
Look there, Billy Cole. Are you kidding me? Billy Cole. But Billy Cole is a BBD TV legend.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now this is Billy Cole II.
Yeah, same one.
Okay, it says my great grandfather was a grindstaff. Lived in Fannin County, Georgia. Okay, and here's Ricky D. Now he didn't make a comment; he just sent some money.
Yeah, if it's your first time sending a super chat, if you've never sent one before, I've done this before back when I used to send them when I first got started. You'll click buy super chat before you forget to. I think you have to type in what you want to say before you choose the amount, if I'm not mistaken. And Mike Rutledge is here, another guy from my channel that watches you. Great guy out of Texas.
It's very good golf school. That's what it was. It's Christian Brothers from Memphis. I played them in 1979, and they took us to the bank. Yeah, I think they were. I can't remember if they were in the playoff with us or there was a team out of Nashville. They might have finished third, one stroke back. It was one of the other teams. I just remember the name Christian Brothers. And they were a good golf team. We were a darn good team. We had a guy, Chris Dibble, who was an All-American freshman at the time, and then we had Bucky Wright, who was our four-man, but he was a great four-man.
That name sounds familiar, Bucky.
Yeah,
Wright.
Bucky out of Greenville. And then we had Joe Meade out of Greenville, who he wound up going pro, and he was probably the most talented of us four, and he was a junior. So we were loaded. Our worst player was really, really good. And that's when you're good in a team sport like that in golf.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I played usually first, but I was a senior. Joe had more talent than I did. Chris Dibble had more talent than I did, but they were younger.
Right.
And it's
kind of odd that they didn't win it again after you graduated.
I think they were too busy having fun because they would go. I don't know. I think they had a little too much fun at the state tournament. It was my understanding. And knowing a couple of them, that could have been the case. But
a couple more super chats.
And plus, you got to get lucky. Look, we were very lucky to win the state title. Very lucky.
You got to have luck to win a title in anything.
Absolutely. I don't care who you are.
Georgia last year, they were loaded with some luck.
So can you take? I've worn out Florida so much, and I do love it so. which is actually, I hate to admit it, but it's a compliment to Florida because they've had our number so long. And really, it's not about Florida. It's about Steve Spurrier. Cost us 2 national titles. He cost us 2 natties.
At least.
And he creaked us on Peyton. Peyton never was able to take him out. And that's when we would have won titles. On top of the one that we got. What's that?
Peyton was so close.
Oh my gosh. Peyton. And he'd have won the Heisman too.
Don't even get, oh man.
That was upsetting. Here's Carl Judkins. Love your show. Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate it. And hey, if anybody wants to send BVD some moolah, all you got it in the comment, make sure you let me know and I'll make sure he gets it. So if you want to send something special for him, he could use it right now. He's going through a bit of a tough time with his health. And I understand what that feels like because I've been kind of where he's been, not to the level. Well, actually, maybe I had 2 years of chemo and all this awful stuff.
You've been there. You've definitely.
So I understand what it feels like to have a catheter in your jugular and all that. And he's been going through a tough time. So if you want to send him something, you just make sure to let me know and I'll make sure he gets it. And do the same thing if you're on his show because, sometimes we just need a little help. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I'd just be happy to see some of these people come over and sub me up,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, they're getting, some of them are already probably, I'm sure a lot of these folks are
I recognize some of these names. Now,
viewers.
Stingray is a name that I see all over our community, but I don't see him in my streams.
He's usually, I've seen him quite a bit.
He's in, he's on Uncle Lou a lot of times. I think he's on Pigskin Pete. It's not the same Stingray that was on Paul Feinbaum either. I found that out a while ago.
Oh, that's cool.
You remember that guy?
Oh, I got a Paul Feinbaum story on that. This guy, Paul Maris, is cheering you on to 10. Boy, it'd be nice if I could get to 10K. It's been tough in the off season. It's hard to get
there.
It's hard to get subscribers. It just flat out is. In season, it was easy, but because these are your hardcore folks that really just love the Vols intensely that are watching now. You're not going to have as many casuals. Of course, you get your numbers pretty much double in season because you get the casuals and the hardcore like us,
right?
That just I keep up with it every day. Here was the thing before I even started the channel, I was keeping up with the Vols just like this, like I do now. Yeah. I just wasn't, I wasn't talking to people about it other than my friends and family. But I was reading all of this stuff. And, of course, I love the VolQuest and 247. And I was listening to 99.1, Knoxville News Sentinel. Yeah. I mean, I was wearing out all that. I was reading the Knoxville News Sentinel back when everybody was getting a paper.
Remember the Knoxville Journal?
I bought the News Sentinel every single day. I just went and bought it. I didn't have like a subscription or whatever. I remember the Knoxville Journal. I remember it. Yeah. I'm sure I read it some. I don't remember how much.
I don't know if they got bought out by the Sentinel or if they just kind of quietly went away in the night like Lane Kiffin. I can't remember what happened to those guys. But
we got to talk about Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Before you talk about him, do you ever listen to Tony Basilio?
Yes, I like Tony Basilio. He's very knowledgeable.
I do too.
Very knowledgeable. Now, is he still on an AM station as well? Plus YouTube?
I think he's on AM and FM plus YouTube.
Okay, but I've heard him a bunch. He's pretty darn good, man. He's been doing it a long time. I knew him back when I was running the golf course back in the 90s.
Right.
And actually, we did some advertising with him on his station, and he could not have been a nicer fella. He was such a good dude.
He was amazing. I don't know if you know this or not, but when he was at Tennessee Sports Radio, we had a little podcast we used to do on my channel. It was me, a girl named Cam Guy, and a guy named Jason Swordfinger. And we got hooked up with Seth Stokes, who worked at Tennessee Sports Radio, and he actually got our podcast put on the radio. So I worked with Tony Basilio, Jason Swain, Eric Ainge, Chris Treese. Got to work with all those guys for about a year, and it was amazing. And then, without going into a lot of detail, there was a relationship going on behind the scenes with Cam and one other fella, and when she broke it off with him, he got our show cut. So it was kind of a crappy way to go out. But at least I got to work with those guys for a year. And Tony Basilio was just the nicest guy. So a
He
lot of
certainly
people don't
seems that
like
every
him.
time I've ever interacted with him, he could not be a nicer person.
Yeah.
And he knows a ton about UT football.
Yeah,
A
he
ton.
does. He went to school at UT.
Yeah.
He's from the Philly area, I think.
Yeah,
He's
I believe that's
in
right.
there.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia area.
Great guy, man. Just a great guy.
Cool. Says Joshua says, love your videos. Me and my dad always. Well, that's cool. Some of the best. Man, look at that, Carl BVD.
Appreciate it, Carl.
$10. Okay, there's $10 right there.
Appreciate you, brother.
I'll write that down.
Ask BBD about his friend Eddie Spradlin. Shut up, Billy Cole. Billy Cole is a well-known smartass on my channel. I'm just going to tell you that, John.
Okay.
So if he comes over here and gives me crap, and this goes to all the people in the comments too. Anytime you see Billy Cole giving me crap and trolling me, you know it's because he's the world's maybe first best ranked smartass, but it's close. It's close between him and one other person. But I would definitely put him up near the top. But he's a great guy too. He's
now speaking of smart Alex, we got to talk about Lane Kiffin.
We got to.
Kiffin here's how he started it out. I guess it was either today or yesterday. They asked him, I guess, or he wanted to talk about the Tennessee NCAA penalties and all that stuff. And at first he said, oh, no, I want to talk about Ole Miss. He said, but I've been following that very closely, and I got a lot to say. And he said, but I'm not going to say anything. Then he went right on to talking about it.
Yep.
And he started talking about USC and how bad he had it there and how hard the NCAA hit him and all this crap. And I'm sitting there going, let me see if I understand this. You knew the NCAA was investigating the USC when you took the job. When you
but it's his dream job.
Dream job. All right. Yep. So he got over there and, of course, left us after 1 year, one day before the commitment day or the national signing day. The absolute train wrecked our entire class. Tried to take 3 or 4 of them to USC with him and Ogeron and all that. You remember that?
Ogeron, yep.
Ogeron was wearing them out to come to USC.
Oh, yeah, in their ears. Come with us.
Yeah, they crashed our entire class. Then, on top of it, then we're stuck, so we've got to hire somebody, and we go get this Dooley guy who's 4-8 at Louisiana. None of that happens if Kiffin handles himself reasonably. If you're going to leave, you don't leave the day before signing day, and you give plenty of notice under these circumstances, and especially after a year. So when he left, he just burned bridges. He not only burned a bridge at UT, but he burned bridges across the SEC. And he thought, well, I'm going to be at USC for the next 10, 20 years. It's my dream job, and everything will be fine. He didn't know that they were going to get a 2-year bowl ban, that they were going to lose all these scholarships and all this. Well, he got over there, and he had all this talent, but he had no depth. He had no quality depth whatsoever. So as soon as he had a few injuries or, somebody didn't pan out, all of a sudden he started getting whooped. And he started getting
depth in his coaching staff either.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things of that season or the last season, and I hated that they fired him because I loved watching those late games at like 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whenever they came. They always real late.
Yeah.
And rooting against him, and he was getting beat a lot. And, of course, he was just not handling it well. And they fired him, and I was like, man, I look forward to that game so much every time. And then, of course, he wound up, Alabama at the rehab center there. Coach Saban's rehab center rehabbed him and brought him back to life.
Now
he's done well. I mean, the guy's a good coach. I'm not going to take anything away from his coaching ability whatsoever. He is a quality coach and very good offensive coordinator.
What scares me about Lane Kiffin, and you forgot to add one of the things that he famously said to me when he left us is, I would have not left Tennessee for any other job. Like, that's going to make us feel better. If it had been anybody else, I would have stayed. Bull crap.
That's possible. That's possible. And because he was from USC, he was offensive coordinator. And I think what it was, I think his wife wanted to go back home.
Yep.
That's what I think it was.
Yep. I mean, somebody like her, Billy mentioned it a minute ago. He said Los Angeles or Knoxville question mark. Now, for somebody like us, we'd probably choose Knoxville,
Yeah.
but for somebody like Layla, she wanted to go home.
Well, wasn't she from there? Her
I think
family was
she
there.
was
So
somewhere.
he gets this perfect job opportunity in his mind.
Yeah.
Then his wife's happy. He's like, okay, I'm just going to leave.
And
he probably thought it's no big deal. Nobody's going to be that upset. Well, he was wrong.
he had his coaching staff all picked out, that he was gonna take with him from Tennessee, including Ogeron. I forget who else left to
Well,
go
his
with
daddy
him.
was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. We didn't hear much from him after that.
What was his first name? Kiffin. He was famous. Monty
Kiffin.
Kiffin. Yeah,
What
he
I
was
was
a great
gonna
defensive
say,
coordinator.
the thing that
Do we
scares
have this guy's asking if we have a good kicker? Yeah, we got a good kicker.
from Indiana, yeah.
Yes.
But he's only going to be here
He's
1
pretty
year.
clutch too. He was very good. So we're good there.
The thing that scares me about Lane Kiffin, John, is I got a feeling Billy ain't gonna last at Florida. And
Well, I tell you, that's where he's headed. If Billy doesn't last, I promise you.
Then we got us another Steve Spurrier.
That's what I want. Here's why. I think Josh Heupel can beat Steve Spurrier 2.0. I think he can. And here's the thing. We don't have any more good villains. Saban is an okay villain, but he doesn't talk enough smack.
Yeah.
I want a smack talker at Florida that we can beat up on. Now, look, he's probably going to beat us some too, but we need that villain. We don't have villains anymore.
Not legit villains.
What's that?
I said not legit villains like Spurrier. Now Kirby could be a villain. He was pretty vocal last year for the
He's
Tennessee
not doing
game.
enough of this.
Right. But we'll see. Billy, here we go again with this Billy Cole guy. First of all, Will Albright was not a 2-star long snapper. He was a 3-star long snapper, and he was also rated the best long snapper in the country. And you got to have a good long snapper on your team. Imagine if me and John were out there trying to snap the ball to punters. We'd be rolling it back there 10 yards off to the right and the left. You got to have a good long snapper.
Darn right.
As it turns out,
here's what I'll tell you about a long snapper. You don't need a good one until you don't have one. And then you can watch a nightmare occur. Because I've seen that happen in the NFL a couple of times where somebody gets hurt and they don't have a long snapper and they'll have like a backup. And actually more in college, where things can go bad very quickly because when you've got to snap it back to that punter,
wow!
If he punts it at his feet or over his head, that can be a 14-point turnaround.
You got 131 people in here, John.
Cool.
I'm just thoroughly impressed. You guys make sure you share this out. Get some more people in here. Take care of my boy John. Hit that super chat down there on the bottom. Hit the thumbs up. Do all the things that you do for other live streams, because we're gonna get Sports Talk Jay doing more of these live streams.
Yeah, this is super fun. I've been wanting to do it. I didn't quite know how to, so I've been studying up on StreamYard, and I know you were talking. I know you use StreamYard, and I believe Boogie uses StreamYard, and about everybody does.
Just about everybody, yeah.
Yeah, everybody that I've watched on YouTube, I can tell by the layout. Of course, right now I'm on the unpaid version, but I'm going to go to the paid version. And you know that because it says powered by StreamYard. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the guys do the call-in shows where they'll cover their screen with either a picture or a video or just cover it with themselves, and then you can take callers on StreamYard, and it's kind of like having a phone system, but you're using StreamYard. They're talking.
I think I have. I think I've seen some of that.
Yeah,
it does the calling.
Lou does it. Pete does. A lot of people do.
Oh yes, yeah. Does Lou use StreamYard to do that?
StreamYard and OBS.
Okay.
I think he uses StreamYard to do his. They call them call-in shows, but they're StreamYard call-ins. And basically, you take I don't know, you hit your button over there on the right where it says brand, I think, and you can scroll down and you can choose pictures out of your computer to put up as an overlay. You just put an overlay over the videos and the people come in and talk. That way you don't have trolls coming in and porn bombing you and doing some of the.
Oh, yeah, that would be awful.
Yeah.
That would not sit well.
That'll get your channel shut down quick.
Gosh, man, because
Um,
I'm one thing I try to do is try to keep it as clean as I can. And
yep.
I had a little tiny bit of profane words when I first started. Not much; it was very tiny, but I had a couple of families reach out to me, and their kids were liking the show, and and I think I told you this. They said, when I have to stop my kids from watching your show if you're going to have any profanity. I was like, oh man. So I didn't want that going on. So that's why I don't have a problem with, a bad word here and there. It's just, what the heck. Plus my mom watches it, and she's in her 80s and she doesn't like that. So
that's awesome though.
That's what it is. Oh, I got to tell you this story that happened today. This is crazy. The lightning was so bad this morning that my house was shaking.
Wow.
And literally shaking. And it happened 4 times. And I was like, I couldn't believe the power didn't go off. And I think a tree got hit nearby because I heard it crash. Wow. And my mother has this little chihuahua, cute as crap. And it can't stand bad weather. I mean, it gets really upset.
Does it shake and quiver?
Oh, it shakes and does all that. But it will not go out. If it's raining, it won't go out because it doesn't like to get wet.
Right.
That lightning was so bad. My mother said she was taking a shower and she looked down and that dog was at her feet getting soaking wet because she was shaking. She was so scared when those really bad ones hit.
Oh yeah.
I laughed my rear end off over that because I know Bunny doesn't like to get wet.
I'm going to, I normally wouldn't do this, but since we got some new people in here, new to you, possibly new to me, I'm going to drop them a link. If you guys want to come over and share the love, I sure would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Do that.
Me and John and Boogie are going to be doing a lot of stuff together this football season. And I think it's going to be great for the fans that watch all of us, but it's going to be great for us too, I think.
We said, I think we're going to do
like-minded
every week.
Yeah.
Right now we're talking about doing, all 3 of us on at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then, one time will be on your channel, one time will be on mine, and one time will be on Boogie's.
Yep.
And just talk sports for, hour or so or hour long.
There's nothing better to me than to get on a live stream and be able to just talk football or whatever with somebody. And you're like that. You're easy to talk to. Boogie's easy to talk to. So it's just a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah.
And then
I've had, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you could get people from the comments section that want to come in and talk football with you, that just makes it even better.
Yeah, and this is I can see why you like this so much. The other thing is, I've had some people that a lot of people wanted me to go live. A few didn't because they like, oh, well, you're going to quit doing your other videos. No, I will not quit doing my regular videos.
Right.
I really enjoy the creative process of that. I just do. It's fun. Now it takes a lot of time to put those videos together. I'll go ahead and tell you, it's 2 and 3 hours to, and I lost a 2-hour job today because of the weather.
There's nothing worse than having that happen.
I lost the whole video.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to quit doing it. I'm not because I just enjoy it too much. And I like all the nonsense I put in there and doing the stupid coaches and,
I think it's funny because some of the younger people don't get, we have the same kind of humor because we're from the same decade. We're from we're 80s guys. So we like a lot of the same movies, a lot of the same music, a lot of the same TV shows. So when you put the Andy Griffith clips in there and the Sling Blade clips and all the great stuff from the 80s, I think some of the younger people are like, what's that? Where's that from?
Yeah.
So it's kind of giving them an education in some ways.
Yeah. My demographic skews older. If I'm sure you look at your stats on YouTube and it gives you the demographics and the age and all that stuff. And how many are men, how many are women. I'm at about 90% men, 10% women. And
what's the most obscure country you've seen people watching you from?
Oh, I have never really looked at that.
That's crazy. I think I had two people from Mongolia watching my videos. And I'm like,
I can believe. Well, I mean, anybody can, but I don't know that I've looked at that too much.
You ought to check that out. It's you might be shocked at where people are watching you from.
Yeah, I probably would.
Think about that.
I do know the cities. I know the cities where they're watching. Nashville is number 1.
Okay.
Now Knoxville is either number 2 or 3, and Atlanta. Those are the top 3: Nashville, Knoxville, and Atlanta. That's where probably 50% of my viewers live. And then I get a lot like Upper East Tennessee, Kingsport, Johnson City, Greenville. I'm sure you get a lot of Greenville because you cover Greenville.
Yeah, we got Richard Grindstaff in the comments. He's saying Elizabethton Cyclones. How big of a rival was Elizabethton for you back in the 80s?
Pretty big, pretty darn big. Yeah. They were a pretty good team, as I recall.
They still are. They were a little bit down last year. And the year before last, we killed them in the regular season. And then they came up here in the third round of the playoffs and upset us 13-7. Most frustrating loss in all my years of being a Greenville fan that I've ever seen. Even more so than losing to Anderson County last year. It's just depressing. We averaged 50-some. We were like Tennessee, man. We averaged 50-some points a game last year. And that night, our offensive coordinator refused to throw the ball. He insisted on pounding it up the middle. And Elizabethton stacked the box, and they stopped us all night long and ended up beating us 13-7.
Huh.
So we've learned from that now, though.
Yeah, Greenville's had a great football team the last 10, 15 years. It's been amazing. My nephew played on the state championship team, Little Will.
Yep.
And he played on he was an offensive tackle. And he was about 200 pounds, which that's decent size in high school.
Yeah.
But he handled guys that were 250 plus because he was just strong enough and quick enough. And some of those guys, they weren't in good enough shape. So he was able to kind of get in front of them. But he did a good job. And I watched him play, I guess it was Fulton on TV out of Knoxville. And they lost to Fulton. But that was the most exciting game. I'd never watched a high school game on TV before.
That was a game, I think, where I can't remember his name. We had a running back that broke his arm on one play, and he didn't tell anybody. He broke his forearm, and I've got it on video from later in the game. After he broke his arm, we were down on the goal line, and it was one of those plays where he was getting ready to cross the goal line, and he got hit low and like cartwheeled across the goal line and landed on that broken forearm. And that was pretty much the end of his night right there.
I'll bet.
But yeah, they ended up beating us that night.
Hey, let me ask you this. Does anybody know what time is Edwin Spillman going to commit tomorrow? Does anybody have a time on that? I know it's tomorrow and it's between us and Ohio State. Has he announced the time? Well, it seems like somebody said he was going to be on 3.
Probably.
I may look that up because I think there's a time frame on that. I'm sure if he's going to be on 3, I'm sure he's given a time.
Yeah, Carl Jenkins, Randy Sanders, the OC there. That's funny. I had I had season tickets for 1998 season, the best year to have season tickets. And there was a guy, an older guy that sat 2 rows behind me, and I'll never forget, off to the right. That entire season, all he did was complain about Randy Sanders. He called him Snuffy. I don't know why he called him Snuffy, but run the ball, Snuffy, run the ball. It was, I almost turned around and punched that guy at one point. Everybody that sat around him was so annoyed by the guy. But what are you going to do? He paid his money to be there, so you just kind of have to put up with those people.
I do not see it in this article. I know it's tomorrow. Does anybody out there know what time? Sorry to change the subject there on you. I just wanted to know if there was a time.
Slim was saying he's old school. He don't have what it takes to send money, but he's working on it because I love the show. Watch every one of them. You don't have to have anything. Slim, anything in particular. You don't have to have PayPal or Cash App or any of that. You just click that $sign down on the bottom and it'll walk you through it. You can send anywhere from $1 up to $500. I think is the most you can send. I've never seen anybody give a $500 super chat. That would be unbelievable. But yeah, take care of our boy John here. He's working hard for you.
It says Richard Grindstaff says, I heard on 3 at 7. 7 o'clock. I hope that's right. That's perfect for me because I have to work in the morning. So I
Are
get
you having internet troubles?
me.
Yeah, because it says on YouTube the chat keeps getting disconnected, but then it connects right back up. That's usually a sign of internet trouble.
I can tell you that it was uploading slowly on YouTube today, and
Okay.
because it has rained so hard and been terrible all day, people are they're not at Dollywood, so they're all inside their cabins or their hotel rooms or wherever they're doing, they're inside, and they're going to be on their phones.
They might be headed to Athens, Georgia, like I am tomorrow for the big Slav
Hey, that's
Olympic
right.
softball game.
Y'all got the
Yeah.
Slav Olympics, don't you?
Well, the softball game, the Slav Olympics was back in March. It's in March every year.
Here's Andor Wolf sent a buck. That's always appreciated.
Every dollar counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. So tomorrow at 7. That'll be cool. That'll be fun. Wait a minute here.
What position is he again?
Says, yeah, it does get disconnected a few times. I think it's probably there's so many people pinging the towers up here. That's probably what could be causing some of that, if I had to guess. That would make sense because, like I said, it took almost an hour for my 12-minute video to upload. Normally it'll upload in about 10 or 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it took 4 times longer, and that's rare. But it's usually when the town's packed and when it's raining.
Yeah, when the town gets packed, man, I don't know how close you live to town. But when that town gets packed and them hotels fill up, the internet comes at a premium.
Yeah, because right now is the busiest time of year up here.
Are there any rod runs this weekend that you know of?
No, you won't have rod runs in the summertime up here in Pigeon Forge. That doesn't happen.
It used to.
Now
to have 2 or 3.
What they've got spring and fall. They'll have one in spring and usually 2 in fall, or vice versa.
Right.
And then you can't drive anywhere. Those weekends, it's a nightmare.
You should try delivering pizzas and that stuff.
What did y'all do? What did you do?
We drive on the sidewalks if we had to.
Yeah, it's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you live there, you've seen it. There's places where you can cut through certain parking lots. You figure it out, believe it or not. As drivers, we figured out how to negotiate that traffic. But there was just some nights, man, we would get so busy. We would have 2 rows of tickets stacked up that deep, and it would be 2 hours from the time people called in before their pizza even got made, and then another hour for it to get delivered. So some people were waiting 3 hours for their pizza, but they didn't care. They didn't want to get out and fight that traffic. They let us do it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I like I said, I don't even know how you could.
I actually missed that job. That was probably one of the best jobs I ever had. Made great money.
Do you make good money delivering pizza?
Oh, dude,
tip you good.
$300-400 a night if you're a good driver.
Oh my goodness, man, I've known some people that did that and said they did great.
Now with all the different with DoorDash and all the different delivery services, I doubt anybody's making that kind of money. But back when I was doing it in the late 90s, there was Geno's where I worked. There was Pizza Hut, whose delivery sucked. They hardly ever got any deliveries, and Papa John's had just come to town. So they were really our only competition. And as a driver in that town in the summer, when you can't move in the traffic, you got to run stairs. I would run like 3,000 stairs a night going up top of the hotels. These other pizza delivery guys would be standing there on the first floor waiting on an elevator to come pick them up. And I'd run up to the 7th floor and come down and be on my way back to another delivery before they even got on the elevator. So you figure out ways to speed things up. And like I said, sometimes we had to drive on the sidewalk, and cops didn't care, because they knew we had a tough job. Now you couldn't be out there just mowing people down, and doing stupid stuff like that. But as long as you were careful about it, that they wouldn't say nothing if you used maybe 20, 30 feet of sidewalk to get around something.
Gotcha. So, here's a Tennessee Mountain Man said, what did you guys think about what the coaches said during media days? And Jimbo does not like the question about the offensive coordinator position with Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
That upsets him to no end. And every time they ask him, and he will not say that Bobby Petrino is going to call the plays. He always says, well, he's going to have influence and, he said, hopefully he'll be calling the plays. He'll have some suggestions. And I'm going, what does that mean? Why can't you just say he's going to call the plays? He's the offensive coordinator. That's going to be they're going to butt heads. They're going to butt heads.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And
Jack Sparrow hooking you up.
I didn't see that. Uh-oh.
Science Hill guy.
Oh, man, look at that, at $20.
The enemy.
Show Jay will be at the Vintage Market at Central Taps and Flats in Knox this Sunday. Kyrie West is one of my clients. Be there 1 to 8 selling vintage clothes. I'm a Science Hill guy, state champion times 2. We beat Oak Hill 1 in USA.
Yep. I remember that.
Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. That was the whole message, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Jack, I ran into a Science Hill guy today at my doctor's appointment. He was my triage guy, took my blood pressure and all that stuff. Kid from Science Hill. So ran into one of your family members today. Science Hill's down right now really bad in basketball. But they'll be back. They'll be back.
Now, Science Hill's in Johnson City, as I recall.
Yep.
Yeah, they were good in football. We always struggled against them. They always gave us a real tough game.
Well, they were real good in usually real good in basketball.
Yeah, remember, they were good at everything. Johnson City, I lived in Johnson City as a child for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from I think I was 5 to 8. And then 8 on, I was in Greenville.
I forget what year it was we had that party at your house. We had to be 8 years old because we were little.
Okay, that would have been, it was probably that big Christmas party that Doc always had.
Well, it was warm out.
It was warm. Okay, yeah. It might have been something else because they were always doing something. My mother was always up to something.
All of us kids were out in the backyard playing kickball, wiffle ball, and just whatever kind of ball we could get our hands on.
It must have been something my mother put together then.
Yeah. Because
I was thinking they always had a big Christmas party, but it wouldn't have been that. Who knows? They were always doing something.
That's dad crazy.
Always had parties.
Such a small world, I swear.
Yeah, that was back when you could have parties back then in the 70s, mm-hmm. and you didn't have to worry about, all the lawsuits. If somebody had too much to drink or something, they'd blame you and all that. That was back in a different world. But it's hard to have parties anymore like that because somebody will hold you responsible and you don't even hardly knew they were there. So you got to be a little careful these days with parties. But that was back in the 70s when that was what people did.
Oh,
people had parties at their house and they'd have 100 people over there.
Yep. And then the cops didn't care.
Yeah, it was just there wasn't as many people on the roads either. I remember as a kid, a real small kid, the roads weren't that busy. And then it was just in the 80s, it started picking up because everybody got some money and everybody started buying tons of cars.
And cruising became popular.
Yeah, if you ever watch like any movies from the 70s, and it'll show California, and it'll show the traffic, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
And now, in the 80s, it started picking up. Now, if you try to drive in Los Angeles, you need you just
can't. It's like Pigeon Forge.
See what Tennessee Mountain Man said. I'm excited about this season and the ones to come. Absolutely. I could not be more excited, Tennessee Mountain Man. I'm fired up.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yep. 44 days. Is it 44 or 42?
I think it's 44.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 44 days, and it's going to be I love the first game being Virginia.
It's like
that'll
5
be a good
Saturdays.
What's that?
Like it's like 5 Saturdays, something like that.
That's going to be a great warm-up game for us. Because they're not very good. They're really down. Virginia is, and they've had all kinds of problems too that are really unfortunate. So they're going to show up. That'll be fun. That's really a home game for us.
Yeah,
I don't consider that a neutral site.
There's still plenty of good seats available for that game too, by the way. But they're kind of high. The cheapest ticket I was looking at tickets before I got connected with you today. It's like $75, something like that. Unless I just was looking in the wrong spot. But
why would they do? I don't understand why they do the neutral site that's in the same state as the college. I don't see how that's fair.
It makes no sense because that's supposed to be a home game for us.
Well, and then on top of it, you see that all the time with Georgia gets to play in Atlanta.
Yeah.
At the Mercedes place or whatever it is. That's a huge advantage for them normally. They played that neutral game against Oregon last year, and, of course, they beat Oregon up and down.
Yeah.
They drugged them up and down the field like a borrowed mule.
A lot of people wanted to see a rematch at the end of the year because Oregon had gotten better. And, there's no way Georgia would beat Oregon like that again. Well, you don't know that.
Ask TCU.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if Tennessee and Georgia had a rematch, how do you think that would have turned out?
I think it'd have been quite a bit different. First of all, if we'd have had Hendon, I'd have been more comfortable. And then on top of it, I'm telling you, Sanford was 10 points, easy 10 points, because those 6 offsides stopped our momentum so many times on offense.
Yeah,
and we can't be stopping like that. That's not how our offense works. And that was huge. In South Carolina, we had a tough time with that crowd. I'm telling you, South Carolina crowd showed up.
Well, we had a tough time with Spencer Rattler is what we had a tough time with. And two, go back and watch the highlights of that game. There were so many plays where we were literally that far from either breaking a pass up or, we just missed a tackle by that much. When I was watching, I was like, man, that game could have been so different, but it wasn't. They just flat kicked our hind ends, and there's, nothing we can do about it but whine about it until they come see us this year. They got to come home, baby.
Yeah, Carl Jackson says loud. Now, when you say loud, you're talking about the crowd, or are you talking about us? Because this is my first one. I don't know if my microphone's too close or too far away.
Well, I mean, everybody's got a volume control. I think he's talking about the crowd.
I think so, too. I think you're right. Boy, it was. I tell you what, that Georgia game was like. I didn't know Sanford could get that loud. I had no idea that they could get that loud.
How are you going to that's a good idea, Jack, but how will you know if people subscribe to him or not?
I guess they'd have to tell him. If they told him, I guess he'd know then, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that would be one way.
Says, let me put this up. He said, I'm going to advertise your show this weekend for you. See if it helps. I'm going to give a discount if they subscribe. We love your show at work at Bell Helicopter.
Oh,
when you
nice.
have a show up, bro. Man, that's super nice. That is very nice. I've had a couple of people that say they watch it at work, and I love hearing that.
Yeah.
That's a huge compliment. I always appreciate that. I try to make it fun. And that's why I'm not going to stop doing the regular videos. Several people said, "Oh, once you go live, you won't do it." I was like, "Yes, I will." Man, I enjoy putting the videos together. It's fun.
The whole thing about YouTube, and this is where it's working for you and it's working for Boogie right now, is you make videos every day that you can. That gains you subscribers and builds your channel. And then the live shows you do to have fun, to talk football and make money. That's the sole purpose. And you've done well. I mean, you've done amazing tonight. I knew you would do good, but I never envisioned 135 people your first night. That is just insanely good. So I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah, it surprised me. I didn't think I'd have very many at all, really, because I'm not used to doing it. And I didn't get my video out. It was supposed to go out like 4 hours ago, and I got it out super late. So I'm sure some people were watching my video and not watching this, but it's just kind of how it was.
Or
matter
both.
of fact, I hadn't even checked, but it was just, I could not get it upload. I couldn't do anything right today. Everything I did got blocked on YouTube it was actually my computer. And I knew when those lightning strikes hit, and I've got big time battery backup here, but I'm telling you, when you get lightning like that running around, it's going to mess with your equipment.
Yeah, definitely.
It just is.
There's nothing you can do about that either. I mean,
yeah, there's not. I mean, you can
it out.
Yeah, and like I said, these are good backups, but it's not much you can do about it. Just the best you can.
Let's see, Eric B. Jones. He's a Boogie and BBD regular and the Sports Talk J regular now, I would assume. Good to see you, Eric. Eric was one of my biggest supporters when I was in the hospital, and I appreciate that a lot. I had a lot of support from YouTube, but Eric was checking on me about every day on Facebook and praying for me, and just a great guy. I hope to get to meet him someday. Maybe get you to come on one of these live shows, Eric. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Just come on and talk football with us.
Oh, somebody's asking about Cousin Earl. You're going to see Cousin Earl again. Don't you worry. I've been talking to Cousin Earl, and he really wants to come back and be on the show some more.
I must have missed that.
What's that?
I must have missed Cousin Earl.
You've not met Cousin Earl.
Okay.
Cousin Earl is a special character. He's everybody's got one in his family, and he can be a little bit problematic, but he's got a good sense of humor, and I'm trying to think what he's usually getting into. He gets real mad at Lane Kiffin, and
that's good. That's a positive.
Yeah, so automatically you got to like him. And what else? There's a bunch of stuff, but I think I've had him on 5 or 6 times, and I wanted to kind of introduce him to folks to see if they liked him, and I was concerned they would, and that I'd have to keep bringing him back. So I get asked about him almost every video, so I need to start bringing him back a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be glad to see that.
He's a knucklehead, and he's one of those guys that he was a great football player in his mind back in the day.
Kind of like the shoe salesman, Al Bundy.
Yeah, well, exactly. He said the coaches, well, he was so good that the coaches like to save him for the last in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And they would put him in then, either to make sure we didn't lose a big lead or to try to bring them back if they were way behind. So that was sort of his attitude. And he said, what else could they do? You got to put in the best at the end.
That's right.
He's one of those type guys.
Johnny Cole. Wonder if Johnny's any relation to Billy.
Now, Toppers, that would be
Science Hill.
That's Science Hill.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Jack, that's our helicopter guy, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here, Cousin Earl's he is kind of an Ernest T. Bass. He is. He's got a lot of Ernest T. Going for him. He's my third cousin twice removed. And his full name is Earl Lee Reiser.
Earl Lee Reiser. I see what you did there.
So anyway, that's the perfect name for him. I was going to call him Harley Worth It.
Hardly worth it. Now, Kevin Gregg, highlight that comment there if you can from Kevin Gregg.
All right. Which one?
It's the very last comment. Yeah.
Okay. Right here.
Says, Big Vol Daddy was the OG Vol YouTuber. I always enjoyed your videos. Now, I appreciate that, Kevin, but I'm not dead, bro. I still make videos. In fact, I've just gotten back into it.
You've been making a bunch.
Yeah, I've been trying to make one every day.
Yeah.
I want to.
And you do a lot of the live stuff too.
Yeah, I do 3 live shows a week.
Yeah.
And before I got sick, I was doing 4 a week. But again, to grow your channel, I've been on here 14 years, John. I like to throw that little screen up that says I'm YouTube's longest running Tennessee sports YouTuber, which is true, but that don't mean the best. I don't look at myself as the best because I'm not. You and Boogie are killing it right now, and you're going to pass me in subscribers probably by football season. But that don't matter. I still have fun doing it. And people have been begging me to get back to making my old school videos. So that's what I'm going to do. But I've just been kind of dipping my toe in, making one every day just to get my toe back in the water, and
yeah, I noticed you've been doing a lot more because you weren't doing very many there for a while.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that's because you weren't feeling good.
Yeah. I was busy trying to stay alive,
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, even before then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that might have been when you weren't feeling good up to that point. I don't know. But you were doing some videos.
Last 2 years have been rough, but I've got a lot of comedy planned for everybody. So hopefully everybody that used to watch me will come back and give me a chance. Hopefully some of the new people will come give me a chance. That's all you can do is ask,
Yeah, that's true. I'd say they will. Here's a question. Y'all think Amari Jefferson commits? I live in Chattanooga, so I'm hoping he makes the right decision.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Yeah, he's going to commit August 5th. And it's between us and Bama, and there is a slight lean Bama right now, which is almost exactly the situation with Arian Carter that happened last year. and I thought we were going to lose Carter, which would have really stunk.
But we
Because I
didn't.
think that guy's going to be special. I think
Yes,
he's
he
going to be
is.
really, really good.
Hey, look,
So
we got a lot of kids, I think, that are going to be special if they'll stick with it and keep their freaking nose out of the portal. I'm right here, Carl Judkins. What do you mean? Where am I at? Or are you looking for me?
oh, he's probably talking about your YouTube channel, maybe.
Could be. Here, try this. Click on that. That should take you right to my channel.
There you go.
Oh, the whole team BBD, what that's about, I should change that to just BBD. The softball game that I'm going to this weekend is Team Fools versus Team Raj, the Slob softball game. And I said, well, since I'm not going to be since I won't be able to play in it, I'm just going to videotape it. I'm Team BBD, so I'll be the camera guy.
I got you.
Guy behind the camera.
That makes sense. No, it's
Yeah.
down in Georgia this year.
Athens,
Athens,
Georgia. Statham, actually, but
oh,
it's
that's
like
going to be boy. That place is going to be hot. Woo.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be cloudy tomorrow.
Hey, let me ask you this: I get these fans that I use on the golf course when it gets super hot. Like, well, we got playing this league, and it'll get like 95 degrees, and they've got these fans that you can connect. They got this big clamp on them, and they're rechargeable with lithium batteries. They only cost like $40, and I got them. There's tons of them out there, but I bought those like last year because of the heat, and man, they work fantastic. And I put a couple of them on the golf cart, or you can put them on anything.
Yeah,
but you might ought to consider taking you a nice little fan with you.
Well, they said there's going to be
on you.
Plenty of water, plenty of coolers filled with ice and water, and a lot of people are going to be bringing the 10 by 10 tents to hang out under. So
that'll be good.
I'm not going to stroke out. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I've done beat death twice, so I'm not going to let a softball game take me out.
Sorry, what do I click on? Let's see. There's a question. What do I click on? Really new to YouTube?
If
to
you
subscribe?
Want, yeah,
subscribing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah, there should be a button underneath the video to hit subscribe. I believe is where it is.
He's clearly subscribed to you, or because he wouldn't have known about the live stream.
I would think. Well, unless he just popped onto it. I don't know. That may be what he's talking. Wait, this is Carl Judkins. He knows.
Yeah.
He's not new to YouTube, is he?
I think he's asking how he gets to my channel. Help us out here.
Oh,
Carl,
okay.
What do you? If you're looking to go over to my channel, just click that link that I put up there. It's 2 or 3 comments above you. That should. Let me check.
Oh, here we go. He says, just type Big Vol Daddy into the search. That's all I've ever. That's how I found you.
It won't. Let's see. I'm gonna help you help me. See where I left that comment, Jay?
Wait a minute.
Here, I'm gonna leave another comment.
Okay. I don't see yours yet.
It's actually a link. It should.
There you go.
Up.
That's the thing to do.
Okay. There's 3 buttons on the right. Click those buttons, and it'll ask if you want to add as a moderator.
Hold on. 3 buttons on the right.
Yeah, 3 dots on the right. You see them?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Where do I find those? Oh, I see. Up on the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
When you put your little cursor over it.
Yeah.
Okay. It says remove from stream, solo layout, mute, edit mic settings.
Well, that's not right. That's for the setting. It's by my comment. I'm gonna leave.
By your comment. Where is your comment?
There. It says comment. I just left a comment that says comment. You see it? It's on the YouTube page. Are you not looking at YouTube? It should show up in the chat.
Oh, wait, here we go. I see comment. Okay, I'm seeing that. And then I see the 3 dots.
Okay, click on the 3 dots.
Okay. It says put user in timeout, ban user, and delete their comments.
There should be one on there that says add moderator.
There's a star.
That might be it.
Okay, I just added a star.
Well, what in the world? Usually it'll say, ask if you want to add as a moderator.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that anywhere.
Well, that's odd.
Yeah, I have no idea.
When I click on it, they don't do anything.
Well, if
reports
nothing
and
else,
blogs.
like I said, if they search Big Vol Daddy on YouTube,
Yeah.
they're going to find your channel easily.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the easy, and or put in BVD Vols, which is
Well,
sometimes what I've done in the past. Before, I'm subscribed. I usually get your stuff right away.
it's kind of important for your streams if you can figure out how to add moderators.
Okay.
And add some people you trust. They can help keep the trolls under control in the comments. I'm not sure why it's not saying that when you click on those three dots, because it always says that on my StreamYard.
Yeah, right now it just says those two things: time out and ban somebody.
You definitely don't want to time me out.
No, I don't.
Or
that would
ban
not be
me.
good.
Well, I don't understand that.
I don't either. That didn't make any sense. But that's what it says when I hit it.
Okay, we'll look into that later.
Okay, yeah. Next time we'll figure it out. Let's see.
You got some good
Johnny
people
Cole.
in here.
Let me see what Johnny's starting to think. Here we go. Now, I've seen this fella in my comments before. I think I've responded to a bunch of his, as I recall. I'm pretty sure. Seems like that name jumps out at me pretty big time.
Johnny, are you any relation to Billy Cole? I hope not, for your sake.
Johnny, now we have a wait a minute? Don't we have a Cole that we're trying? We've got a Cole, Chris Cole, a linebacker out of Virginia, and he's buddies, I guess, with Peyton Lewis they may be out of the same high school. He's a teammate. Yeah, teammate of Peyton Lewis. And he's a 4-star linebacker, and I know they're trying to get him as well. Now, I don't think he's got an official visit. It said end of July is when they're trying to get him up here. That's another guy they're trying to get. And I've heard this Danny Okoye, who's an edge rusher, 4-star. He's the number 158th player, and he's got an official in September, so he must not be planning on committing until fall. The Amari Jefferson, have we talked about Amari Jefferson yet?
You brought him up, and then we went into something else.
Oh, we went into something else. Yeah, that's the one. Well, I guess we did that. Bama's trying to get him. And
yeah.
I showed
us and Bama.
Yeah, I showed highlights of that guy. He's got the moves like Jagger, man. I'm telling you, when he gets that ball, he is electric. He makes people miss and makes them look stupid. I don't want Alabama to have him.
Stupid.
I do not want Alabama to have him.
Yeah, they just got rid of one in Bryce Young that made people look stupid. They don't need any more.
Oh, my gosh. That guy, how did he lose that game in Neyland, the game that he played? I thought about that today. I was thinking about
that was his game of the year. Let me ask you this, John. This is something we have not yet to talk about that I know the people in the comments will be interested in. Joe Milton. Now, I saw him on Feinbaum today. I haven't seen any of his interviews on Press Row or anything, but I saw his interview with Paul Feinbaum. Interview-wise, the dude is perfect. He says all the right things. He's got all the right answers about Josh Heupel, the culture that Heupel has brought to the university, family atmosphere. Says they practice from 7 to 12, and after 12 o'clock, the coaches leave them alone to do whatever they want to do. And it's up to them. If they want to go get treatment, they go get treatment. If they want to go work out, they go work out. Just a great interview. How do you think he's going to do on the field this year? What's your early assessment?
I think he's going to be solid. I think there's going to be some 3-and-outs that we're not used to because we had the magician back there in Hendon Hooker that would take off.
Mm-hmm.
And he would keep us out of those long 3rd and longs because he almost never got sacked.
Right.
I think we're going to see some sacks because Joe wants to throw the ball. He wants to let his wide receivers get open, and he wants to throw the ball. He probably would be a really good runner, and I think we'll see him run some.
Straight up and down.
Great athlete.
Yeah.
But he's not, Hendon Hooker. And I think he'll be solid. I think he's going to make some incredible throws that are going to absolutely make people crazy how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll go through some dry patches. And his legs, I don't think, are going to be able to save him the way that Hendon, like I said, he was magical. We're going to miss Hendon, but,
Milton likes to stay in the pocket.
The Clemson game made me feel better.
Yeah. Milton likes to stay in the pocket a little bit longer than Hendon did, which can be good, but it can also get you sacked and get you in trouble because, like you said, he's not the magician that Hendon Hooker was. But I think he's got better top end speed. When he gets loose and gets away from the defense, he's going to be hard to catch.
Well, how are you going to tackle him? He weighs 230 pounds.
That's my cousin whines about him being brought down easy. I don't see that.
No, I don't
mean,
think
I
so.
I don't see that at all.
I don't see him being easy to take down at all. 230.
Yeah.
He's strong. Have you seen him do those backflips?
Yeah, he's a freak. I mean,
Yeah, that's he's not going to be taken down easily. I
this
don't
is
think
his
that'll be the
last
case.
chance. This is his absolute last chance in college. It's year 6. It's he didn't leave us when he had every chance to. Thank you, Carl Judkins. Appreciate it. This is his year, and he's got. God, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. He's got a legit chance to be considered as one of the 4 for the Heisman at the end of the year.
If he plays like he did against Clemson or better, and he'll probably need to play a little bit better, but not a lot better.
No, he was great.
He was 67%. He threw for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. If you put up those kind of numbers consistently,
that's the big one.
You're going to be
0
fine.
Interceptions.
Yeah,
and only 1 overthrow.
Well, he threw 0 interceptions last year and 10 touchdowns.
That's amazing.
That's outstanding. And I think part of that, too, is the Heupel offense. Because if you've noticed the last 7 years, his quarterbacks don't throw interceptions.
They get rid of it quick.
The most interceptions I saw, I think, was like 12 by the guy up at Missouri, the guy that went to the pros in like the first or second round. But he had like 45 touchdowns, and he had like 12 interceptions. And then after that, there was one guy had 7. And that's the most I saw.
If you can get through the year, if Milton can get through the year with, say, 4 or 5 interceptions, that's a good year, in my opinion.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I'd like to see about 35 or 40 touchdowns, yeah.
He needs about low 30s in touchdowns and about 3 to 6 interceptions, and he's golden. Yeah. And I wouldn't be a bit
0 fumbles. 0 fumbles.
Hopefully he doesn't have one of those strip fumbles. Those are the worst. The strip fumbles the worst.
Strip sack from behind. I hate those.
Yeah, the strip sack, because he does like to stay in there a little long.
He does. He waits till the absolute last minute. He scared the crap out of me in that Clemson game.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, that's the guy you were thinking of, Drew Lock.
Yep. The nice thing is Clemson's an SEC quality defense, so it's not like he did that against North Carolina or Wake Forest or some team that we could have played, Oregon State.
Yeah.
He did that against a high-quality defense with a bunch of 4 stars and 5 stars on that team. Now, they had a couple of guys that weren't in there, but every player on that defense is high quality. They're SEC quality players.
What did you think about our defense in that game? I thought it was and they even talked about this, it was almost the perfect bend but don't break offense. We let them run up and down the field, but when they got in the orange zone, they couldn't do anything with it. I mean, it didn't hurt that they missed a couple of field goals early, but that wasn't going to matter at the ultimate outcome of the game.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the defense in that game. It was really other than the South Carolina game, our defense at least showed up in every game.
Yeah.
Even the Alabama game where they scored 49 points, that was Bryce Young. We did
100%.
Everything that you could possibly do to stop him. We hit him so many times. Somehow he just would magically reappear 10 feet away and throw a touchdown when we had 2 guys just had him.
And we gave them 7 points late in the game. I don't know if
true. That's true. So they scored 42. So, but other than that game, in the South Carolina game, they actually did okay on scoring. I mean, we averaged 20 points or 21 points a game we gave up on average. That's not terrible.
And take that South Carolina game out of the picture, which you can't do, obviously, but can't vacate that one, unfortunately.
No, but other than that one, the defense did okay. Now, look, the secondary stunk. They were 127th in the country.
We got to be in the teens this year in scoring. on defense, I think.
Yeah, I think we finished 30th or 31st last year with the 20.7 or whatever it was, down from, or it might have been 22.7 down from
Yeah,
29.1.
I think
That's
it was
what it was.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And you take
22.7.
even if you just take half of that South Carolina game away and they score 30, that brings it down 1 or 2 more points.
Yeah, we would have been down in the high teens, maybe at 20, right in that area. It would have made a
That's
big
where we
difference.
need to be this year.
I think we will. I do. I think we will. We've got, well, first of all, nobody's going to score any more points than they did last year because they're not going to get the opportunity because you're not going to have the timeouts every time you get a first down. So that's going to be probably 7 less plays for every team.
Yeah, well, including us.
Exactly. So right there, you're not going to score as much. That's going to help the defense, hurt the offense. And then on top of it, our defense will be better this year. We've got depth in the secondary that we didn't have in 21 or 22. We had better depth in 22. We had none in 21.
Yeah.
They were just smoke and mirrors out there. They were using duct tape.
Yeah.
We had 65 scholarship athletes out there. They dumped 13 scholarships that year.
To do what he did that first year with the people that he was left with was pretty, I mean, it was more amazing than people, I think, give Heupel credit for. He still looked at, I think he still looked at, and it may take a few more years, I think Heupel's looked at as a group of 5 coach, not ready, to step up and be the leader of a big time program like Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. But I disagree with that. I think this is going to be the job for him that sets him, not sets him apart from other coaches, but brings him up to that level, to the Kirby Smart,
Well, I'll tell you what, he got everybody's attention last year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and he's got Uncle Lou was talking about Ryan Day wanting to bring the hash marks in, and here's why he wanted to bring the hash marks in, to stop the Vols. He wants to stop spreading that ball out the way the Vols do. And then you also had Nick Saban, who wanted to make the clock change, and you had the Pittsburgh guy that we wore out.
Well, now wait a minute. If they move the hash marks in, wouldn't that allow us to spread the offense more?
I think I think there's some rule there where you have to be within a certain distance of it. So I think it tightens up the formations.
Yeah, I guess that brings everybody in.
And think why he wants that.
Yeah.
Kirby's not Kirby, but Ryan Day, because he always has the number 1 or number 2 recruiting class every year. Well, what you want to take away as many variables as you can if you've got a huge advantage in recruiting. You don't want to have people doing different things like what Josh Heupel does, because that throws a monkey wrench into the whole system.
Yeah,
which is what he's done. And they don't have to stop it. Nobody's figured out how to stop it. Georgia, I'm telling you, had they been at Sanford, they would have struggled with their offense. They would have. They struggled with Ohio State's offense until they lost that great wide receiver. They're not impenetrable. They're not. They can be beat.
They can. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that proves it. What Ohio State did to them.
What happened was this: once you start scoring on them and start running the ball and doing all the things that we normally do, their defense gets tired. Once a defense gets tired and they lose a step, all of a sudden you can score on them.
Appreciate you joining us tonight, Stingray. If you're heading out, take care.
Yeah, thanks, Stingray. Stingray, I see him in a lot of my shows.
Bo Burrell, are you a Green Wave fan? If you are, I've got a great interview with JJ McCleskey on my channel that I did several months ago. In fact, I got several great interviews. I got Chris Treese on there. I had Chuck Webb, but he ghosted me. Dang it. I was really looking forward to that. I got Chase McGrath after the Bama game. It was fun to talk to him and get his take on that ugly kick that won the game for us.
Well, that was something.
He said they got a finger on it. Is why it looked like that.
I think that's what happened. That's exactly what I think happened.
He said that they
just touched it.
He said they watched that play over and over and over in the office and decided that the guy got a little finger on it. It don't matter. It still went through. It's the kick that caused the goalpost to land in the Tennessee River. So it will forever be one of the most legendary kicks ever. George Cafago would have been proud. Yeah.
In some ways.
Cafago would have loved it,
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes it even more magical.
Yeah.
My brother Walt was down there, or June bug as we call him, and he said that when the Alabama guy kicked it, there was a gust of wind, like a 20-mile-an-hour gust, and he was down there in the stadium area, and he felt it. And if you'll notice, when that guy kicks it, that ball moved to the right, and then it
Yeah.
never quite swung back in. And I think that wind is what kept that ball from hooking in there and going in.
Now, we
So
had the same thing happen.
we might have had a little bit of extra help.
We had the same thing happen against Florida. I forget what year it was. We lost, and it was a close game, and it came, if I remember the game right, it came down to us kicking a field goal at the end of the game. And you look, when they always show the kick from behind the kicker. If you look, that ball was hooking. It was going to hook in, and all of a sudden, right when it got near the goalpost, the flags that they have at the top of the goalpost, all of a sudden that flag started blowing real hard to the right, and the wind pushed that ball out wide right, and we lost the game. I said, man, even the gods hate us against Florida.
Well, here's the thing about wind. If you think as a golfer, when I hit a ball, and that ball is tiny, okay, and it's heavy, and the wind affects the crap out of it. Imagine what the wind does to a football.
Yeah.
That is, the circumference of that football is 50 times a golf ball. And it's got air in it. So, I mean, the wind is going to have a huge effect on that football.
It still amazes me what wind will do to a golf ball.
It is kind of shocking. Well, it's because wind is exponential. 30-mile-an-hour wind is 9 times more powerful than a 10-mile-an-hour wind. And I don't know why that is. There's a name for it, but wind
is. How does that scientifically even work out?
It's squared. Wind has a power to it that, if it's 3 times more powerful, it's really 9 times more powerful. It's squared every time it goes up. There is some fancy term for it, because I've looked it up, because I always thought the same thing. I said, why does a 30-mile-an-hour wind want to knock you down, and a 10-mile-an-hour wind feels good?
Yeah.
It's because there's some vector or velocity that it says velocity in the term, but it's a real thing. It's kind of shocking, really. And that's why a hurricane is so dangerous.
Right. What amazes me about wind is, like, a super calm day. How, when the earth is moving at the speed that it moves around the sun, how is there ever not any wind?
Oh, I have no idea. Now you're getting in. Now you're getting.
How do you explain
that?
About. I mean, that's crazy to me. You would think there would always, like at the beach. You go to the beach, and there's always wind at the beach. You can't escape it. I mean, it's windy every single day at the beach. But here on flat Earth, I guess, I'm not saying that Earth is flat. I'm not stupid like that. But here on the flat part of the Earth, there's days where there's literally no wind at all. How do you even, I mean, that don't compute to me. Gravity, and don't say gravity either, because all gravity does is keep us grounded.
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of comments here, a lot of good ones too. I think Mathews is, man, I'm telling you, that guy's special. You can see he's got a second gear that most players can't even dream of. And when he wants to, go ahead.
I was asking about Mathews. Does he start day one?
Ooh.
I mean, we got
I don't know.
Stacked receiver room right now.
I don't, man, I'm telling you, we're so loaded. We're so loaded, have so many good players. But here's the thing about great players. You about can't keep them off the field.
Yeah. Take care, Carl.
That's what's going to happen with Arian Carter. He's going to find the field. That's what's going to happen with Cam Seldon.
Yeah,
Cam Seldon's going to find the field.
He is definitely going to play. There's no question in my mind that kid's definitely playing.
The guy runs a 4.40 and he weighs 220. It's crazy.
You cannot keep a kid like that off the field. Somebody's got to go, for at least a few plays anyway. He'll stick him in there at left guard.
I'll tell you what, I see him doing some great things. Now, he won't play crazy number of plays his first year, but he's going to become a very dangerous player for the Vols.
Yeah.
And it's almost unfair in a way if you think about what we throw at people, and then all of a sudden here comes this freight train that runs a 4.40.
God.
That's not right. Yeah, you
Are we,
expect that from a Squirrel White,
are we
who's
back?
a littler guy, but the big dude coming at you like that.
The question everybody wants to know the answer to: are we back?
Absolutely.
We're back for good. Not for good. Nobody's back for
Well,
good. But
we could have a pullback this year where we won 8 or 9 games. That's certainly possible. But we're
yeah,
back.
but
I mean,
we're back.
we're still. I don't care. We're still going to be an incredibly dangerous team this year
Okay.
that nobody's going to want a piece of because we can put a whooping on you quick.
If Heupel ever figures defense out, and I know that's not his job, he's hired other people to do that. If we ever figure defense out, I don't think we're ever going to be Georgia defense. We don't have to be. But if we can figure out some kind of defense where we keep just imagine if we kept our opponents to 14 points a game.
Well, remember
Be literally
we went from
unstoppable.
we knocked a touchdown off of 21 to 22.
Yep.
That's fantastic
Let's
improvement.
knock another one off.
I tell you what got us upset with South Carolina. If it wasn't for South Carolina, we wouldn't be near as down on the defense. That game just kind of exposed things and made everybody think the defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Look, Kentucky didn't score hardly a point on them. What about LSU?
Yeah.
We went down there and they scored 10 points?
That's because we played them during the day.
Well, I'm not saying that didn't help.
The crowd wasn't drunk enough yet, John.
Well, yep, I'd say there's some truth to that. But guess what? It was there, it was packed, and
it
was
was
loud.
there, and we kicked their hind ends.
Yeah, and my brother was there, Junebug, and he said it was loud as crap. He said, but we quieted the crowd because we scored on them and scored on them and scored on them.
It was loud the whole game because at the end of the game there was only Tennessee fans there, and our crowd was loud.
Yeah,
we had a lot of people.
Trying to think, I think it was the Pittsburgh game where our crowd took over. No, it was a Vanderbilt game.
No, it was Vanderbilt. We always take over, Brandy.
Yeah, we took that over.
Yeah, you can't really count that. What's up, Cayman?
Squirrel White will be on the field. Absolutely. Squirrel White is a mismatch nightmare.
And
he is a speed. What does he run, like a 4.3 something? He's so fast.
You got a dude named Squirrel on your team. You know he's playing.
He came in as a 3-star. I covered him, and I thought that was the stupidest rating I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He was 1,000 times faster than everybody that was on the field in high school, and he made him look like a joke. And they had him right because his size. They didn't like his size.
Right. Well, I'll tell you about some Greenville kids that didn't play D1 ball because of their size. And I'm telling you, I don't care. Cade Ballard could have played quarterback in the SEC. He could have. He was short. Stetson Bennett was short to some degree. There are cases where Johnny Manziel, he wasn't 6 foot tall. That kid could have played in the SEC. Fortunately, he wanted to go to a military school, so he went where he wanted to go. Now, if he'd have been 6'3" or 6'4", the SEC would have been all over him, and he probably would have went somewhere in the SEC.
Well, he was good. I remember hearing about him.
Ridiculous.
He was special. Very special.
Could run it, could throw it. I mean, he threw the prettiest ball you've ever seen. And he had
I remember. How many state titles did he win?
2.
Yeah, he was outstanding.
Should have won 3, but Central beat us on a Hail Mary his sophomore year.
Now, wasn't he he's the coach's son, right?
Yep.
Now, is that coach still there? Or did he retire?
He retired after Cade graduated.
Okay. Now, he was the one that got Greenville really going. With
the one that got us going was McCurry, the guy that came over from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
He turned everything around and got us headed in the right direction. Then he handed it over to Ballard, and Ballard just took off running. And they hired Eddie Spradlin, my dear friend Eddie Spradlin, Billy Cole, who is he graduated with a phys ed degree basically. He controls the weight program at Greenville. He got the kids bigger, stronger, and faster. And it just nobody else in Northeast Tennessee could keep up. Elizabethton finally figured it out. They even credited their first state championship to Greenville football. We took the Greenville template and worked off of that, hitting the weight room.
Yeah, my nephew said the workouts and the practices were so hard that it was unbelievable. He said he threw up many times.
Yep.
Said it was so hard. But he said when you get in the game, you were in such better shape than everybody else.
Yeah.
That when they were giving out, you were still going strong.
And the starters never saw the second half when Ballard was
that's
here.
true because they were always ahead.
Yeah, and we had a couple of people, but one I remember went to ETSU, and granted, ETSU is not Tennessee or even Vanderbilt for that matter, but it's a big college for football. And he came back to visit one weekend, and he said, "I got to tell you, BBD, the practices at Greenville were way harder than the ones at ETSU." He said it was twice as hard.
Don't doubt it a bit. Don't doubt it a bit. Because, man, they were so much better than everybody, in such better shape.
Yeah.
It was something else. Well, BVD, how long have we been on?
It says right up in the top corner, 1 hour and 35 minutes.
All right. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it right there. All right. Well, I think I'm about ready to end my very first live video feed.
Hey, when you end it, stay in here.
Okay.
Couple of
how do you end it and stay in here? Just hit.
You just hit end. You have to hit end something up in the top right. Same place you
broadcast. Okay.
Yeah, you hit it, it'll turn red, then you have to click it again on the bottom.
Okay, but that'll keep. But I'll stay in there.
Yeah, and then we'll stay in here.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, folks, I appreciate you coming and watching our very first live show. Thank you very much. And for you folks that sent money, thank you very much. And the guy that sent money for BVD, I'll make sure he gets it. And we'll see you the next time. We'll do another live show. Don't you worry.
Yes, sir.
End broadcast. Yes. Okay, I just did.